I got over her cheating faster than I thought I would. It was deep winter, when night falls early, and I was having one of those great days. We had just signed the biggest contract in the history of my little company. I went out to the office and told everyone the happy news. They have a great team, and the applause and cheers made me feel like a company hero. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I asked everyone to go home early. The day couldn't get any better than this, so I wanted everyone to go home and spend it with the ones they love. The day couldn't get any better than this? It couldn't get any better. I spent another 5 minutes with Jim Daniels, the company lawyer, signed the final papers, and left. I was the last one to leave, and that made me feel especially good. I had the best team in town, and the thought of them all celebrating at home with their families overwhelmed my heart. So I took the flowers and headed home to my own wife. She didn't know it yet, but we were going out to dinner. As the saying goes, the lowest falls come after the highest highs. I walked through the front door and saw clothes strewn across the living room floor. They were men's clothes mixed in with what I could see were my wife's clothes. The man's clothes were not mine. I pulled up the pants, checked the driver's license in my wallet, and something inside me died. It was Harry Parker, a.k.a. Harry Ass Parker, a.k.a. Asshole, that nasty sack of garbage she worked for. Did you get the impression I never liked that guy? I put his driver's license in my pocket and walked down the hall. The sounds coming from the bedroom were impossible to mistake. I turned back only to see with my own eyes what my ears were already telling me. I stood in the doorway, still wincing a little. My cheating wife was having sex with her boss on our bed. They hadn't seen me. I stood there in shock and watched them make love. What do you think your husband would do if he saw us now? She laughed. Probably bring us a towel. They both thought that was funny. Isn't it enough to see your wife with another man? You also have to hear her ridicule you? I'm gonna show them they're assholes. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept by the bedroom door for safety. I never needed a weapon, but now I wished I had one. I was about to bring it down with all my might to smash this asshole's head in when I suddenly stopped. No! I wasn't going to go to jail for guys like them. I wasn't going to do time for killing a worthless bug. I thought, you want trouble? I'll give it to you. I swung the bat from end to end, backed up like I was going to batter down the door with a battering ram, took aim, and drove the handle of the bat into the fat white asshole's fat asshole. I don't know if I penetrated it, but I tried like hell. In retrospect, I should have said that. I must have hit the bullseye or I would have ripped his guts out. I wanted to drive that bat into his tonsils. The scream was very satisfying. He jumped off my wife like a frightened rabbit, hit his head on the brick wall behind the bed, and then rolled unconscious to the floor. I would have enjoyed it if my heart hadn't been broken. Could a dead man have a pulse? I certainly felt dead inside, but my heart was pounding. It was pounding in my chest. I could feel the pulse in my head behind my eyes, and for a moment I thought I was going to pass out. It's at times like this that you question your sanity. Did I really see what I thought I saw? Was she really having sex with her boss? She was in a panic. It had to be. If ever there was a textbook example of temporary insanity, it was me. Honey, I can explain. It's not as bad as it seems. We can get through this. That creep isn't getting your towel. Pack your things and get out. Drag that piece of meat behind you or he'll die here tonight. I just stood there, bat in my hand, my cheating wife trying to cover herself and her asshole boss lying on the floor. I blacked out. That's the last thing I remember of that encounter. I didn't get my next memory until hours later. It was dark. I was sitting in my living room just staring into space. The next day, I found a bat in a trash can. I must have taken it to the garage at some point, but I don't remember. I do know that I didn't have the slightest desire to pick it up again. At some point, sitting in the dark, I felt something in my pocket. It was the asshole's driver's license. Well, I'd have to call his wife soon. I wandered around the house. The cheater was gone. That's good. I don't know what I'd do if she was still there. I heard the doorbell ring and went to open it, ready for a confrontation, but it was my little sister Dee. That's what we call her. It's short for Deborah. She lives just a few blocks from us and had stopped by to borrow a couple beers. Steve is working late and needs a cold one when he gets home. You don't mind, do you? I never seem to answer her. Jake, what's wrong? You look like you're in shock. Where's Barb? I caught her. What do you mean you caught her? How did you catch her? Where? What was she doing? I caught her having sex with her boss in our bed. She just stood there looking at me for a long time. Apparently, she realized I was being serious. Without saying a word, she stepped forward, put her arms around me, put her head on my chest, and said, "Oh, Jake, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that." I really don't remember much about that night. I only remember sitting in Dee's living room, her kids crawling all over Uncle Jake, and her husband Steve sitting with me. I don't remember much conversation. I slept in that night and woke up in the morning feeling invigorated, if not, satisfied with my life. The kids had already gone to school, so Dee and I sat at the kitchen table drinking coffee while I ate scrambled eggs and bacon. Coffee and bacon give a person life back, albeit slowly, and I began to take stock of my life. I knew there were big changes ahead. Divorce was imminent, with all the changes that would come with it. I tried to preserve myself and give her as little as possible, but even in my dysfunctional state, I knew she would get half. Dee and I had a long talk. There's no chance of saving the marriage? Maybe there would be if it was all theoretical, a bad story someone told me and she confessed to, but not after what I've seen and heard. It's enough that she was doing that smarmy creep, but they were also mocking me, humiliating me and teasing me while they were doing it. How can I forget that? If she really doesn't stand a chance, then maybe I should tell you something. What's that? I never liked her. I started laughing. There aren't many people Dee doesn't like. And you're telling me this now? There's more to it than that. No one in the family likes her. Even my kids can't stand her. She smiled slightly when she said that. Now you're making it up. No, I'm not making it up. Jake, you have a good heart and you see the best in people. You see what they can be, but some of us see what they are. I can't figure out what this is about. I don't know exactly why I don't like her. I just know that she's never been truthful. I always felt like there was something fake about her. Well, I guess I can't say you're wrong now, can I? I'm sorry, Jake. I wish I wasn't right. I never wanted to be right about her. What are you going to do now? Divorce her. Find an apartment somewhere. Simplify my life. Pick up the pieces and start over. You know we all support you, right? You can stay here as long as you want. The kids will be happy to have Uncle Jake around. Thanks. I might agree with you on some nights, but I need to stand my ground and face it. She's not going anywhere, and neither am I. Jake, if something happens and she starts pressuring you, I want you to just walk out the door and come here. Do you understand? Don't walk alone, and don't do anything stupid. Just walk away. Nothing's worth getting arrested for. I know, I'll have to face her sooner or later, but I need to get my act together first. We were silent for a while I thought it over. Okay, sis. Let's make a list. What do I need to do and how do I do it? We grabbed a notebook and started writing. Lawyer, bank accounts, credit cards, investments, retirement accounts, house, utilities, cars, what furniture I need, what furniture I don't need. Our bed is at the top of that list. Books, music, boat, tools. The list went on. We worked through it, whittled it down to what I really wanted, and made another I don't care list, just to be able to bargain. I must have passed out at some point. Jake, what are you thinking? Ah, I sighed. What kind of person disrespects herself enough to have sex with her boss from work? Does she think she can't survive on her feet, so she's trying to survive on her back? Does she have so little respect for me and what I do that he seems strong, manly to her? If my boss was a woman and I made love to her to get ahead, I would be embarrassed to show my face in the office. If that's all I'm capable of, what am I worth? What's wrong with her? I think you've answered your own question, Jake. Now stop feeling sorry for her. I know you. You'll find some reason to think she's flawed, and before you know it, you'll be taking her back and trying to fix her. Don't do that. She's not broken. She's just worthless. You're not exactly good for my ego. You know that, right? I lied. The truth was that she was making me feel better by the minute. You made a mistake. You can fix it and move on. There are plenty of good women out there who think you're the catch of a lifetime. I know. Some of them have told me. Really? Who have? I actually felt better. Dee was laughing now. For starters, big brother, we divorce you, you have having sex, and then we marry you. I like the second step. How about we move on to step 2 and then do step 1 and 3 when we have time? Dee smiled and shook her head. Men, stop thinking with your dignity. Finish your list. Dee watched me silently for a while, then reached out and took my wrist in her palm and squeezed. It's going to be okay, Jake. She made me smile. An hour ago, I wouldn't have thought that was possible, but now I was smiling again. I don't know what caused it, her love, her humor, or the prospect of having sex. I liked all 3 possibilities. You know, I got the asshole's driver's license before I kicked him out. Are you kidding me? Why would you do that? His clothes were the first thing I found. That's before I went back to the bedroom and caught them. I was strangely logical for a short time and wanted to know who left the pants in our living room. And what are you going to do with them? Give them back. To his wife. I love the way my little sister laughs. And how do you explain why you have them? He was so busy having sex with my wife that I didn't get a chance to ask his name. So I decided it was in the interest of full disclosure. I think she'd be interested in my story. Oh, can I come? Can I come? Can I come? Please. Nah, do you want to come with me while I tell this asshole's wife that he makes love when he should be working? Yes, please. I'll just be there for support. Besides, I want to hear what she's going to do to him. I thought for a moment. Give me the phone. That's one of the things I like about my little sister. It doesn't take much to make her happy. I called, telling her who I was and why I was calling. She said she didn't believe me, but the tone of her voice said she did. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop near her house, and Dee and I climbed into her car and hit the road. I know this is going to sound nauseating, but I was starting to like it. I knew I would still have to face my cheating wife, and I was well aware that she would rip my heart out again before it was over. But for the next hour, I was going to get my revenge in the best and safest way possible. I was going to let his wife punish the asshole in court. They couldn't arrest me for that, could they? Turns out a man with half a brain, which is the best description of my condition at the time, isn't that good at planning ahead. I had no idea what she looked like. She was the third woman we approached. I couldn't tell what she was thinking, but either she was amused by our efforts, or she was concerned that we were losing our minds. Probably both. We introduced ourselves. The asshole's wife looked at Dee with suspicion, and my sister explained that she had just come to support me. Nevertheless, the corners of Dee's mouth lifted slightly, and there was a glint in her eyes. I told Mrs. Stein what I had seen and what I had heard. She repeated that she didn't believe me. Then I pulled Stein's driver's license out of my pocket and handed it to her. Since he wasn't wearing pants at the time, I held this up for safekeeping. I'll never forget the look on her face. The darker her expression became, the brighter ours became. Oh yes, she believed us. What are you going to do about your wife? Divorce her, and with your husband? Toast? It's not the first time, but it's probably the last. I know I'm not supposed to be vindictive, but bullshit. You called me because you want revenge. This isn't some humanitarian action you two are up to. Right. And I don't want to go head-to-head. Either I do something I'll pay for later, probably for the rest of my life, or I'll just tell you what he's up to, and you'll do it legally. Oh, that would be legal. My father is a major shareholder in the company my husband works for. My father is also on the board of directors. My husband's life as he knew it is over. I have to say I am very pleased. After hearing him talk about me while he was having sex with my wife, I wish he would go down a notch. He'll be down a few notches. He likes to play the big man, but once I explain that to my father, my husband will be out of a job and out of a house. Plus, the Mercedes he drives is a company car, so he'll be walking or taking the bus to his new job. Will that meet your needs, Jake? No, but it's a good start. I lied. It was a great start. So what did you do to him when you caught them? Dee covered her mouth with her hand and tried not to laugh, but she wasn't very good at it. Maybe I shouldn't have told her some of the details of what had happened the night before. What do you mean? He was walking funny all night and this morning like he was in pain. Dee started giggling. She looked at my sister. He was making faces and clearly in discomfort. Dee was freaking out. He said he had hemorrhoids, but he'd never yelled before when he sat in the chair. Dee began to hiccup between fits of laughter. It won't be long now. I shrugged. It's probably just an old baseball injury. That's it. I heard a muffled scream to my left. It sounded like Dee had wet herself. She looked at Dee for a moment, wondering what she hadn't been told, and then at me. I continued to stare straight in front of me, trying not to smile and pretending I hadn't heard anything. Jake, I have no illusions about the kind of man I married. He pulled the wool over my eyes before we were married, but you can't live with someone and pretend forever. I've been ready for this day for a long time. Perhaps you'll take a little free advice? I'm listening. Do what you have to do, but don't be a fool. Either kiss her or divorce her. If you're not going to kiss her, don't even lay a finger on her. Don't give her anything she can lie about. What is going on in your life right now is just stuff. Don't let him drag you into a situation you'll regret later. Copy that. My sister already taught me that lesson today. I looked at Dee, and she was enjoying the conversation a little too much. I guess I hadn't realized how much she disliked my wife. However, now that I think about it, what are my wife's employment prospects with the company? What kind do you want? Any chance you'll give her a big raise until the divorce is final? That will help me with alimony, and after the divorce, you can fire her cheating ass as fast as you want. Give me a date when you'll have it. I'll mark the calendar and count the days. As we got ready to leave, she asked, Another free tip? Sure. Get your sister some help. She smiled, so I think she understood, even if she didn't know. At that, we parted to go about our unpleasant business. Epilogue. That was 2 years ago, and a lot has changed. I got over her cheating faster than I thought I would. I had a lot of help from my family in this. They helped me get over feeling unloved. A woman named Bridget, who was going through a divorce herself, helped me deal with feelings of inferiority. Both men and women experience this feeling when they catch their spouse cheating. Fortunately, Bridget had a great way of convincing me that I had something to offer. We spent many long weekends just cooking together, cozying up on the couch and giving each other joy at night. She was completely truthful, caring, and sincere. What I will never understand is how Bridget, with no long-term commitment, could be more of a wife to me than my own wife. In the end, we had to admit that we were really two opposites who had valued and needed each other for a while, but for whom there was no real future. She moved back home, and I began to move on with my life. We both knew it wasn't forever, but we both moved on, feeling much better in the process. Looking back, I think I regret the loss of that relationship more than the destruction of my marriage. Even my family liked Bridget. We just weren't right for each other in so many ways. As soon as word got out that I was divorcing Barb, stories came at me from all sides. No one seemed to like her, and everyone had their own story about cheating on Barb. Really? Why am I only finding out about this now? As Burt Gummer says in the movie Tremors, I feel like I've been deprived of important information that needs to be known. Yet each story helped convince me that divorce was the only right choice. Sometime after the divorce was finalized and Barb was suddenly fired, I was sitting with my buddies drinking a beer when one of them asked me, "What's her problem, Jake? I honestly don't understand why she cheated on you." I replied, "Turns out she didn't hear well." "What?" "At the wedding, when the priest said forsake all, she thought he said forsake all and did her best to keep her vows. Well, these things have to be treated with a sense of humor, don't they? The end.